The Nichibei Cafe crew, while in Southern California for our Films of Remembrance, visited the Japanese American Cultural and Community Center and its James Irvine Japanese Garden, where we caught up with Keiji Uesugi, son of landscape architect Dr. Takeo Uesugi, who originally designed the garden.
Well, we're in the James Irvine Garden at the Japanese American Cultural Community Center in Little Tokyo, Los Angeles. Its Japanese garden name is Seiruen, which means clear water garden. And so my connection to the garden is that it was designed by my father, Dr. Takeo Uesugi, passed away in 2015. In terms of our family's legacy, he was a 14th generation Japanese garden designer. So his grandfather was a Japanese gardener, and so by my work I do as a 15th generation Japanese garden designer. It's been going for hundreds of years in our family. But he designed this around the time when I was born, in the mid 1970s. During that time when there were efforts for community redevelopment. Part of that was like the little Tokyo towers being constructed to provide affordable housing. And then also the JACCC providing this cultural and community center really started to gain momentum. And as part of that community center, having a Japanese garden being articulating and symbolizing the legacy of the Japanese American community and experience was part of that plan. And so there were various leaders of the community that came together and decided on who was going to design the garden, how would they fund it. And as far as the designer was concerned, they spoke with my father, and then he developed various concepts, and then it came to a design that was created here. In terms of the Seiruen here, they didn't want to build or design a Japanese garden that was just a copy paste of a garden from Japan. That wouldn't really make sense or tell the story of the Japanese American experience. And so my father, being a Shin Issei, a first generation, wasn't all that familiar with the Japanese American history that predated World War II. They did a lot of research, study, and spoke with various people to learn about the multi-generational legacy of the Japanese American community. And so he designed this garden here with Japanese garden design principles, but based on the history of the Japanese American community. And so that makes it a very unique and the first of its kind Japanese garden of North America. What makes it a Japanese American garden in that respect as well, the basic concept of this garden is based on the multiple generations that go to the immigrants, the Issei, back from the late 19th or early 20th century, coming to the United States for the first time, primarily through California, and then going along the West Coast. If you go to the very top where there's a very tremendous waterfall, a lot of noise and this ripple effect, very mountainous, but then it represents the challenges that the Issei, the Japanese immigrants went through in terms of adversity, in terms of trying to financially make it here, not because they weren't working hard, but a lot of the discriminatory practices, systemic racism, that they had to face, including the Alien Land Law Act. There was an Immigration Act in 1924 that stopped immigration from Japan altogether. And so there was and then of course, anti-Japanese sentiment was very rampant, across the coast and the country as well. That's that first part of the garden here, but then it splits into two, and that represents the challenges and the trauma that the Nisei, the second generation, faced as we come to World War II and the dividing road that happened as you have those who patriotically fought in the 442nd in the European campaign, but also you have those who were standing up against the injustice of being incarcerated in the incarceration camps, and then you have the no-no boys, who were had another level of that type of negativity that they had to try to fight against, because a lot of people saw them as being very unpatriotic and for decades, they had to live with that stigma. Why does it come back? It comes back together just right here, right behind me, to symbolize the optimism for the next generation, the third generation, the Sansei, who in the 1960s and 70s, many of them learning for the first time what happened to their parents, their grandparents in the incarceration. Many of them were in college when they learned that they were born in incarceration camps. It's just camp. The fact that they took that as inspiration to fight for their parents and their grandparents, the injustice that happened, and for as that Asian American movement going into the redress, movement, and I think that's connection and the streams coming together to show that the Japanese American community coming to back together again. And then the optimism as that water goes under the maple bridge here and turns the building off to the side right here to show that the story is not complete yet. And so to show that, like the community story is still to be written and to see it with hope.
The garden is not regularly accessible to the public, but contact the JACCC at 213-628-2725 or send an inquiry to info@jaccc.org. This is Greg Valoria for the Nichibei Cafe.